Well, welcome back to this mini-series on the vision of a Christ-centered addiction recovery ministry. I'm super excited to get this one out there for everyone because in the last video we discussed the why, and now it's time to discuss the how. If you haven't seen the first video in this series, go to the link here and see it first and then come back and watch this one. This edition is aimed towards the pastor or the other church staff member who's tasked with filling this much-needed tool for your church. But obviously, there's something for everybody here, so thanks for giving me a couple minutes of your time. We know that a pastor wears many, many hats, and often one of them being the CEO of the organization. A very common concern is, where do I get the resources for this? And let's face it, saying yes is the easy part of a ministry. Providing personnel and financing it, it's a great question, and we have great news. That's very low bar to jump over with Dunamis Effect. Let's start with who has the time for new ministry and who will field the incoming questions and support the meetings. I have what may be a surprising answer for you. Since the beginning of the 12-step movement over 90 years ago, recovery support groups have been run by all volunteers. Look, they have the knowledge and the empathy that can only come from a degree granted by the School of Hard Knocks. Those who have been there and done that seem to have a wisdom that can't be gained any other way. Additionally, the 12 steps in particular demands that a participant carry the message forward and to serve others in their struggles. If a person has been attending these meetings for over a year, there's a strong likelihood that they've led groups at some time. Pushing people to act in service and outside their comfort level is part of the program. And I guess what I'm saying is, if you have a few folks who have a couple years of anonymous experience, the bandwidth to run a ministry like this is just sitting there in your pews waiting to be asked. So if the pastor displays a non-judgmental attitude towards addiction recovery and asks for help from the stage, there's a strong likelihood they will get it. Feel free to email me at the address on this website if you want to discuss it more in depth. Now, about the finances to run this ministry. Let's face it, many churches, money is tight. And even those who experience abundance, there's the obligation that they steward the resources in a manner that furthers the kingdom impact to its most. The most expensive cost to any ministry is manpower, but we already said it's almost exclusively a volunteer ministry. I could see really big churches who need several meetings having a designated associate whose coordination of the meeting times and in the meeting spaces and promotes awareness of the groups. But honestly, there would be few church organizations who actually need an individual whose only duty is recovery ministry. As far as the books and workbooks, they could be purchased by the people using them. One strategy we seem to use a lot is for the church to buy 1 or 2 dozen sets at the beginning, and they're there when the person walks through the door. We want them to go home with a book in hand so they can start reading that night, not wait 2 weeks for it or a week later for it to come in from Amazon. Later, make a request that those people buy a set to replace the ones that they got so that the newcomer will have them waiting for them when they get there. And then it sort of just builds on itself. Listen, at Dunamis, we do not want money to be a reason why churches hold back on starting these new life-saving support groups. And if it is an issue, contact me by email and we'll discuss trying to help your organization out however we can. So what does all this look like in real life? Well, you know your congregation better than anybody, but it seems that the buy-in has to come from the top down. The leadership must portray sincere empathy towards addiction as a fixable problem. Sin, yes, there is sin there to be sure, but sin intertwined with psychological issues like trauma and emotional and mental pain, and biological dependence and genetics, these all make the person who made the decision to sin in the first place an emotional and physical mess on top of all their spiritual needs. These groups are perfectly situated to help that. Perhaps a message or a sermon designed to get everyone on the same page, having a stance that asking for help will be met with grace, and the only shame is continuing to hide and to think that self-control is possible. Asking for the stage for volunteers with some 12-step experience is likely to harvest the needed leadership to run the meetings, and those needed to disciple folks as they go through the steps. Heck, the 12th step says to serve others and pay grace forward. It's considered no fair hogging all the blessings, so they're strongly encouraged to give it away to keep it. Get some books and workbooks and get them into the hands of the volunteers. Announce to the congregation the good news that there's recovery support and that it is Christ-centered and local. It's not being outsourced. There's a free group leaders handbook on the website. Just ask for it and we'll email it to you. And of course, we are available via email through the website. Please feel free to contact me. I love helping new groups get started up. Well, that's it for now. If there are questions or educational videos you think we should do for your church and for your staff, please leave a message in the comments section below and subscribe right now so you don't miss any future topics. Next up will be a video for the guys and gals called to chair these vital life-saving groups. We'll see y'all soon. Bye now.
Just a reminder, the Dunamis Effect is a Christ-centered 12-step recovery program and not medical care. Dr. Middleton is a physician, but he's not your physician. So we encourage you to work with a qualified healthcare professional as part of your recovery. You were created worthy of care, support, and a healthy life in sobriety.